Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on December 7th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize at the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 8, 27, 44, 51, and 61. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and now we're going to find out what colors they were. So the 8 was blue, the 27 was orange, the 44 was blue, the 51 was green, and the 61 was red. So I'm going to color these in. So again, the 8 and the 44 were blue, the 27 was orange, the 51 was green, and the 61 was red. So now I'm going to count how many colors I got. I got 2 blue, 1 orange, 1 green, 1 red for 4 colors total. So up here I'm going to make this 394 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 139 times. So what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. That's come up 206 times. So if you divide 206 into 394, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay? And to me that's huge, because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why this is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. So again, I'm going to start in with the 8, the 27, 44, 51, and 61. Then the 15, 35, 42, 63, and 68. And then the last line is 15, which is already taken. So the 26, 37, 53, and 55. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 2, and 2 are 4, 5 are 9, 1 is 10, and 4 is 14. So up here I'm going to make this 14. So up here it tells me of how many of each color I have on the game card. So moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start with the 28. The 35 is already taken, so the 38. 61 is taken, so the 66. Then the 7, 15 is taken, so the 39, 40, 57. The next line down is the 14, 22, 26 is already taken, 55 is taken, and the 63 is taken. So the last line is the 23, 26 is taken, 27 is taken, 28 is taken, and the 66 is taken. So I'm going to make these orange numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 2, 4, 6, 7, and 3 are 10. So up here I'm going to leave this alone at 10. Okay, so I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card. So just to speed things up, I'm going to speed to the scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like for December 7th, 2019. Again, there was 14 red numbers, 10 orange, turned out to be 20 green, 15 blue, and 10 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So the strategy here is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up, and to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of this and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this 435 drawings I kept track of so far. And basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to see what numbers came up. So I got even, odd, odd. So 3 odds, 2 evens. So 3 odds, 2 evens. Okay, and now I'm going to make this 229 because the odds won the majority. And here I like to go every 5 drawings because I like to see what the majority was. So here the majority was odd numbers, 4 drawings to 1. And now I'm going to make this red. Okay, so the reason why I like to break things down into 5 is to show me that majority. So as I look at this, I see that the odds have come up in the last 3 drawings. Okay, it's leading 229 drawings to 206 drawings. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, since it came up in the last 3 drawings, I'm going to predict that more even numbers are going to come up in this next drawing. So I'm going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. So again, I think more even numbers than odds are going to come up on this drawing. So moving on to the high and low. Here you can see that in the last 5 drawings, it's been to the high side. Sorry, I need to make this red. Okay, so it's been to the high side here. So I'm going to predict that more numbers to the low area are going to come up. So I'm predicting at least 3 numbers will be here in the blue and only at least 2 in the red here. So when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking in this red area to eliminate numbers. So I'm going to write that down as well, that I think more low numbers are going to come up than high. Now moving on, I got left and right here. And what I'm going to do is, you can see that the right side has won the majority for the last 10 drawings here. So what I'm going to predict is that this is going to go to the left side again. So I think more numbers will be over here to the left side than the right side. So I'm going to write that down as well. Again, just to remind myself what I picked. And I have one more called the red and blue area here. Okay. And I was looking at this and I just can't make a decision. So I'm going to leave this one alone. I don't have to pick at every single one of them. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and again, I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd, more to the low side than the high, and more to the left side than the right. Okay, so now I'm going to make my prediction on what color group will not be coming up. And to also help me make this decision, I like to turn to the past as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no orange numbers. So an orange number has come up in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drawings. And I'm just hoping that it's not going to come up so it looks like this where there's no orange numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of my game card. I'm going to block these out. So when I block out numbers like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these orange numbers will come up in the next drawing. So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these orange numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. So basically what I did here is I divided all the numbers into 7 different groups. So here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers, where the other 6 have 10, of course, for 69 numbers. Okay, so in the last drawing here, you can see that the 8 came up. So I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 8. And now I'm going to make this square blue. I'm making it blue because the 8's blue, and the 8's blue because the color code said it was blue. Okay, so here this 5 tells me that out of the 7 groups, 5 of them had a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And I'll show you how to read this here. So this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so the reason why I like it to break it down into 5 is I like to see that majority. But here, it's a little bit different. When I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what group will not be coming up. So again, there's 7 groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so my prediction is no 60 numbers. Okay, so we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. But for me, I'm going to go with no 60 numbers over here. Okay, so the reason why is you can see that the 60 numbers have been really hot for the last 15 drawings here. Actually 17 drawings. And I'm just going to predict that it's due to go on a little cold streak. So I don't think any 60 numbers will be in this line right here. So I'm going to eliminate the 60 numbers off of my game card. So I'm going to blow this back up. Go back to my game card. And eliminate the 60 numbers. So the 67's here, the 65, the 66 is already gone. So I got the 69, the 68, and then the 60 and 61, 2, 3, and 4. So that's all the 60 numbers. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so basically how this works is that if I made the correct pick so far and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be still left here on my game card as a highlighted number. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 4 different color groups. So when the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these color groups down here in the stats. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So the 8 came up, so that's over here in the blue. And then the 27 is in the red. The 44 is in the orange, the 51 is in the orange, and the 61 is in the green. Okay, so I had 1 in the red, that 27, 1 in the blue, the 8, 2 in the orange, the 44, 51, and 1 in the green, the 61. So when that happens, I call this a row where it represented all 4 colors. So if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot, and if there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold. So in this last drawing, the drawing before, you can see that there was no red numbers. So the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Now the last drawing, if I could have, well, the drawing before, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these red numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these red numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so the colors I went with are red, blue, orange, and green. Okay, now the reason why I did this is because I have a group 1 overview. Okay, so this is my overview right here. So all I count is the blue marks. Okay, so in the last drawing there was 4 blue marks or zeros among all 15 option cards. There was no zeros in the blue area. There was 4 zeros in the orange area and no zeros in the green. Okay, so the reason why I do this is what I did is, you know, I decided that if a third of the option cards come up with a 0 to it, I'm gonna color the background blue for cold. So if there's 4 or less, I color the background red for hot, just to give me some separation. Okay, so if I can correctly guess where the blue mark is gonna pop up here, that means that at least 5 out of these 15 option cards are gonna have a 0 to it. And I think it's going to happen here in the red, so I'm just going to concentrate on the red areas to pick where I think the zeros are going to be. Okay, so my first prediction is going to be option card number 4, no red numbers. So the reason why I'm picking this is that you can see that here's a single blue mark, okay, and every once in a while they double up, like right here, and that's what I'm going to predict. I'm going to predict that the 0 is going to be right here, and none of these red numbers are going to come up, so I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and it's the same pattern of this 1, 2, 9, 10 in all 4 squares. So I go back to my game card and I'm going to get rid of that pattern in all 4 squares. Okay, so moving on, my next prediction is going to be option card number 8, no red numbers. So again, you can see the single blue mark, and I'm hoping that it's going to double up like right here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of all these reds. So it runs from the 1 to the 28, and then the 7, 16, 21, 31, and then the 57, 34, 43, 52, and then the 40, 45, 54, 63. So as I go back here, now the 67's right here, and this 19 shares the square with that 67, so I'm going to get rid of that 19, and I'm going to get rid of the 16, 21, 30, and then over here I'm going to get rid of the 43, 52, and over here I'm going to get rid of the 54. So hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so as you look at my game card here, you can see that I have 5 numbers over here to the left side, and as I go back to group 1, you can see that there's no numbers over here. Okay, so what I decided to do was, what I really wanted was this grid of 8 squares across, 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 in a lottery. So what I decided to do was pair up a couple of these squares. Like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25, 65, 53, 69, and the 58, 68. So if I get rid of all these red numbers like I'm doing, okay, then I'm going to get rid of the 19 and the 67 along with all these other red numbers as a group. So this is my way of grouping up numbers. Okay, so that's all I'm going to pick out of this this group 1. Now again, I have 15 of these option cards, and this is kind of what they look like here, and here's number 15. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. So what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. So much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups, okay? So it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, except with this one, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers and there's 8 different groups. So I know that 3 of these colored groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what colored group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this as well. So I have 15 of these option cards. And they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to update this here. So in the last drawing, the 8 came up, that's in yellow. And then the 27 is in orange. 44 is in green. 51 is in orange. And the 61 is in purple. So I always like to read it left to right. So I got 2 in the orange, the 27, 51, 1 in the green, the 44, 1 in the purple, the 61, and 1 in the yellow, the 8. So as I come down here to current, there are no winning Powerball numbers in the red area, no winning Powerball numbers in the blue, 2 in the orange, the 27, 51, 1 in the green, that 44, 1 in the purple, the 61, no winning Powerball numbers in the brown, no winning Powerball numbers in the gray, and 1 in the yellow, that red. So over here I like to count how many colored groups got hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to leave this 4 red because the majority of the numbers are over here to the left side. Okay, the orange and the green. Okay, so if I'm looking at this 4 for whatever reason right here, I know that the majority of them, the numbers are over to the left side because that 4 is red. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a decision on where I think that 0 is going to be. Now to help me out to make a decision here, what I do is I divide things into 5 different groups again. Okay, 5. So here I'm going to color this background blue for cold. Okay, and you can see that the majority is hits, so I'm going to color the background red for hot. So here you can see that the majority is hits, so I'm going to color the background red for hot as well. Okay, so now I just count the red marks, so I got 1, 2, 3, and 4, so over here I'm going to put down a 4. This is the 87th line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where I think that 0 is going to be. Okay, and to help me out again, I'm going to turn to the group 2 overview. Okay, so much like group 1 overview, I have a group 2 as well. So out of the 15 option cards here in the red area, in the last drawing, 8 out of the 15 option cards had a winning Powerball number to it, and 7 out of the option cards, out of the 15 option cards, had no winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so here again I like to find out what the majority was. Okay, so here with the red, there was 8 option cards with a hit to it, so that won the majority, so I colored the background red for hot. And here in the orange, there was more option cards with no winning Powerball numbers to it, so I colored the background blue for cold. Okay, so I'm trying to predict where these blue marks are going to pop up. So for me, I'm going to pick gray. I think a lot of misses are going to be in the gray area, and I'm also going to go with this red because you can see that a lot of times a single red mark will come up like right here. Okay, and that hasn't happened in a little while with this red, so I'm going to predict that this is blue as well. So I'm really going to be looking at the red and the gray to pick where I think that 0 is going to be. So I'll go and demonstrate this right now. So again, I'm going to go back to this group 2. And my prediction is no gray numbers. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers off of my game card. And it runs from the 7 down to the 63. So I'll get rid of the 15, 31, 47, 55. And hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so another reason why I'm picking gray is because, again, I think more numbers are going to be to the left side over here. So I'm going to be looking over to the right side to eliminate numbers. Okay, so moving on to option card number 2, I'm going to go with yellow. So here's the yellow, and as I scroll down, you can see how hot things have been here. Okay, and now I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these yellow, and it runs from the 57 to the 64. Now the 58 shares the square with the 68. So I'm going to get rid of the 59 and 58 and 59. So I'll get rid of those, and hopefully those two numbers do not come up. So moving on to option card number 3. I'm going to go with no red. So as I scroll down through, you can see how hot things have been. And now I think it's time for a cool off, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 4 to the 28 and the 37 to the 61. Okay, so I get rid of the 4, 12, and 20, and I'm going to get rid of the 53 because it shares the square with the 69 right here. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on. Number 4, I'm going to go with red again. So as I scroll down, you can see that things got really hot through here, and now I'm hoping for a cool off. I hope the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers that runs from the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. So here the 8 shares the square with the 66, so I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 35, 36. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to 5. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm a third of the way through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with brown. So as I scroll down, you can see how hot this brown has been. And now it's gone 11 drawings in a row. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. So I'll get rid of the 32 and 29. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to option card 6. I decided to go with red. And you know, this is the thing, we're all going to look at this differently. So again, we're all going to come up with a different result. But for me, I'm going to go with red. And you can see how hot things have been here. And I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So this is the 3, 12, 67, 28 all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 3, 44, and 51. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to 7. I'm going to go with gray. So here's the gray, and as I scroll down, you see that things got pretty hot through here, and plus I went 5 in a row, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of this gray, which is the 9, 2, 11, 4 all the way across. So I'll get rid of that 11. Hopefully that 11 does not come up. So here with option card 8, I decided to go with blue. So scrolling down, you can see how hot things have been here in this blue. And now I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So it's a 6, 15, 22, 32 all the way down. And you can see that there's nothing to get rid of here. So I just want to take a second to explain something. Alright, I keep averages on all 15 of these option cards, and basically the average comes up to 3.8 to 4.2. Okay, and what I mean by that, and what I'm trying to say, is that on average, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it. Okay, So it's kind of like a 50-50 guess right now. Okay, so let's just say that I picked blue. There's nothing to get rid of here. Okay, so let's just say that I'm correct. All right. Now if I come back to this option card and I go back to this gray over here. Now if I get this one correct over here, picking gray, you know, the odds go way up. Then I'm probably going to get it wrong, especially if I got this blue one already correct. Okay, so I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again. Okay, so for me, I just like to guess at one and then move on to the next option card. So here with option card 9, I'm going to go with red. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, which is the pattern of 128 on the left side, 1522 on the right side. So there's nothing to get rid of, so I'm moving on to the next one. Option card 10, I'm going to go with orange. So here's the orange. As I scroll down, you can see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to go with this orange of the pattern of 318 in all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of the 18 and the 50. Again, hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to 11, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. And you can see that this one got really hot down through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, the 614, 1765, 3543, 5664. So the 25 shares the square with the 65, so I'm going to get rid of both of those and the 56. Okay, so that will bring me down to 5 numbers. So I'm going to go with the 24, 26, 27, 48, and 49. So I'm just going to highlight these. So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 24, 26, 27, 48, and 49. So you can see that there's more even numbers than odd, the 24, 26, and 48. More to the low side, the 24, 26, and 27 will make that happen. And more to the left side, the 26, 27, 49. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right. So, you know, I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so now it comes down to what are the odds that I made all the correct picks. Okay, so let me go over the official odds. To get the grand prize, 5 white balls and the red ball, the grand prize is up to 130 million this drawing. The odds of that are 1 in 292 million that you're going to get it correct. My goal is to get all 5 white balls, and what that means is, what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for that. I love to win the grand prize. Okay. The odds are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, now another great prize to win would be 4 white ball numbers and the red ball. That pays 50,000 plus the power play. And the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, so you can see that the odds are pretty steep. Okay, so I just want to give you some perspective that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so I do have something for the Powerball number itself. Okay, so there's 26 red numbers in the Powerball lottery. So over here in this column, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. And if you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay? So why the colors is because when I see something like this where it's been a streak of blue, Well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so here I'm thinking that this is going to be blue, so I think it's going to be a low number, a 1 through 13. And over here, I think it's going to be red, so I think the Powerball number is going to be a low odd number. Okay, so I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. So for this drawing, I think that would be a game time pick here. Okay, so one last thing here is this green area tells me that the Powerball repeated. Okay, so you can see the 3 came up and then it came right back up. So in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.